All right, let's talk about those moments, the ones I mean, where you've been grinding away for months, maybe even years, feeling totally stuck, and then boom, everything just clicks. A new job, a breakthrough idea, a perfect relationship, it all seems to land in your lap overnight. But what if that's not just luck? What if it's actually a pattern? Well, today, we're going to dive into a framework that says it is.
And this quote, it just nails that feeling, doesn't it? It's like 1 second you're staring at a total mess of puzzle pieces, and the next, 47 of them just snap together. That's the moment we're talking about. That sudden, almost breathtaking clarity when all the confusion just evaporates, and the path forward is suddenly so obvious. Yeah, it feels like magic, but what we're looking at today suggests it's actually something you can see coming.
So that's really the big question here, isn't it? Are these massive, life-changing moments just a happy accident, a random lucky break? Or is there a pattern here, something recognizable, something we can actually learn to work with? Okay, so to really dig in, we need to give this thing a name. The framework we're exploring calls it the quantum collapse. And just to be super clear, we're not diving into actual, hardcore quantum mechanics. It's a metaphor, but a really powerful one for that exact moment when all those different possibilities you've been juggling suddenly slam together into one clear new reality. So what is this collapse exactly? Well, for starters, it is not slow and steady progress. This is a high-intensity, all-at-once kind of breakthrough. The best way to think about it is like this. All the work you've been doing, the learning, the trying, the failing, all those little steps, that's you setting up this huge, complicated line of dominoes. The collapse, that's the moment you give that first one a little tap and the whole thing goes, creating this incredible new picture in an instant. And this is where it gets really interesting, because it's so different from how we're taught to think about success, right? We're told it's all about linear growth, gradual, predictable, one brick on top of another. But a quantum leap, or this collapse, is totally different. It's all about this long period of invisible preparation, where it looks like nothing's happening on the surface. And then, whoosh, a sudden explosion of progress, where it feels like the entire building just appeared out of nowhere. All right, so if it's not that slow, step-by-step build, then what's really going on here? What's the mechanic that takes us from that long, quiet waiting period to that sudden whoosh? This quote really gets to the heart of it. The idea here is that the universe isn't working on a straight line. It's accumulating. It's taking all your actions, your focus, your decisions, and it's storing up that potential, like charging a giant battery. So it's not that nothing's happening, it's just happening under the surface, building and building until it hits a critical mass. And once it hits that tipping point, bam! All that stored energy gets released and your whole reality just shifts. And that is why the whole idea of an overnight success is basically a myth. What we see and call overnight is really just the tip of the iceberg. It's the final visible result of years of that invisible work, that alignment, that calibration, as the source material calls it. It's the moment all that quiet, thankless, behind-the-scenes effort finally collides with the perfect moment. Okay, this is all fascinating stuff, right? But the real question is, what do we do with it? How is this useful? Well, this isn't just some abstract theory. It actually comes with a really clear, actionable psychological framework. Let's break down how you can turn this into a tool you can actually use. It really boils down to 3 simple but super powerful steps: shift, decide, and act. This whole sequence is designed to take you from just waiting for a breakthrough to happen to you to becoming an active player who can actually step into that moment on purpose. First up is the shift. And this is a huge mental reframe, probably the most important one. How many of us wait around to feel ready before we make a big change? We all do it. But this framework says, guess what? You're never going to feel 100% ready. Readiness doesn't come before you act. It's a result of acting. The doing is what makes you ready. Okay, step 2 is to decide. But listen, this isn't about trying to force something through sheer willpower. It's more about recognition. It's that feeling you get when you realize the door's already open. The universe, or whatever you want to call it, has already lined everything up. Your job isn't to kick the door down. It's just to align with it and say yes to what's right there in front of you. And finally, step 3. This is where the rubber meets the road. You act. Because when that moment of convergence hits, the window is now. And this isn't about panic, okay? It's not manufactured scarcity. It's what you'd call a healthy urgency.
It's just a clear-headed understanding that, hey, the tipping point is here. This is the moment. And if I hesitate, I might just miss the wave.
So, where does this pattern actually pop up in real life? Because this isn't just some woo-woo concept, right? It has very real, very tangible applications.
Honestly, once you know what to look for, you start seeing this pattern everywhere. It's the energy behind that breakthrough business launch that looks like it came from nowhere. It's that moment you finally get to tell someone your how it all came together story. It's that incredible feeling of relief when you finally get that flash of clarity after being stuck in the fog for so long. At its core, it's about transformation. It's marking the end of the person you were who was trying and the beginning of the person you are who has arrived.
So, here's the main takeaway, the most important thing to remember. These quantum leaps, these collapse moments, they are not random bolts of lightning. They are real, observable patterns. And the great thing about patterns, they can be recognized, they can be understood, and that means you can learn to navigate them on purpose.
I really want to leave you with this last line from the source material because it's just so powerful. It's a real call to action. It says, the field is organized. Step through. The whole idea is that everything you need, the potential, the opportunity, the energy, it's not something you have to create from scratch. It's already there, all laid out, just waiting. Your job is just to step through the door. And so that really leaves us with one final question to think about. When you look at your own life, all the things you've been quietly working on, all that potential that's been building up just under the surface, what future is already perfectly organized, just waiting for your decision to step through?